Prime bundles just got better with 3 new apps. Watch more with PlayGo. Cheer more with Sportsmax. Read more news with Loop. Listen more with D-Music. Plus extra data. It's simply more bundled together. 51 gigabytes for 7 days for only $2,000. Live the experience with Digicel. Activate today on the My Digicel app.
This is the news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 FM.
Good afternoon and welcome to your news in caps. That should be your main newscast right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM for today, January 27th. I'm Joshua Van Sleckman. In our headlines this afternoon, 1 year later, Ghana is still to do independent review of oil and gas resources. Venezuelan foreign minister working on early release of Guyanese fishermen. After years of delay, CGX finally looks to drill in quarantine Demerara blocks. And Hess put aside $70 million for unannounced Stabroek block developments, while childcare investigates an alleged rape of a 15-year-old girl. Get the details of these stories and much more when the news returns.
Join Glenn Lal himself on The Glenn Lal Show. Tell it like it is. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Weekdays at 7:20 p.m. and Sunday at 7 p.m. Tell it like it is.
Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. It is time for me to bring to you an open letter to all Guyanese that can be found on our front page of the country's leading newspaper. That's Kaieteur News. Fellow Guyanese, in the oil business, no insurance means no protection. No protection means high exposure. High exposure spells danger. This is what Guyana could potentially face in the light of our leaders' stubborn refusal to demand that Exxon takes out the appropriate and adequate insurance coverage to protect us in the event of an oil spill. We are like people sleeping in a house without a roof. This foolhardy omission is enough to keep every Guyanese awake at night, worried about what can happen in the event of an oil spill. Fellow Guyanese, once massive spills could wipe out our future. A major oil spill will destroy our fishing grounds. Oil will seep into our agricultural lands, destroying the one sure source of our livelihoods. Oil will line our rainforests, our foreshores, and destroy the mangroves, which protects us from the ocean. It will cause lasting environmental, ecological, and economic damage. It will cripple our economy. One simple mistake or accident could reduce all of us to paupers. And worse yet, everything it does to us, it will do our neighbors. As long as you, the Guyanese people, remain silent and do not speak out, our leaders will continue to act with impunity, ignoring what needs to be done and protect you and your children's future. Fellow Guyanese, raise your voices, speak up. Don't let them force us further into poverty. Demand that the government obtains adequate oil spill insurance now. Glenn Lal, the publisher of Kaieteur News. And now for your main newscast right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. Once again, my name is Joshua Van Sleckman. I would like to thank you very much for joining us. In the top stories we are tracking this afternoon for the 27th of January. In late 2019, the Energy Department had announced that it would be procuring a consultant to conduct a 2D and 3D seismic survey offshore Guyana so that a better understanding can be had of the nation's oil and gas potential. But more than a year later, this exercise is yet to kickstart. The survey was seen as critical as it would help to determine whether the large acre Guyana offers for offshore exploration and subsequent development should be kept the same size or reduced. The Energy Department had even stressed that the survey was vital as it would help Guyana offer packages that would retain more value than before. While Guyana continues to move at snail's pace on this matter, its continental neighbors are wasting no time in using the news of its discoveries to propel more defined studies. And moving on, after engagements on Monday with Guyana's Foreign Affairs Minister and International Cooperation Hugh Todd and Venezuela's Foreign Minister George Arces, they had pledged to work on the early release of the 12 Guyanese fishermen and the 2 Guyanese registered vessels that were detained by Spanish authorities on Thursday last. The Foreign Minister of Venezuela was said to have conveyed concerns regarding how Guyana has been handling the case thus far. Moreover, he assured that the crew members were being treated with the utmost respect for their human rights. At the request of the Foreign Minister Todd, the Minister of Venezuela undertook to pursue the early release. Both foreign ministers agreed to the importance of mutual respect in relations between the two countries. Following several years of delay on their part, CGX Resources is looking to drill wells in the Corentyne and Demerara blocks, 2 oil concessions offshore Guyana. The EPA says it will acquire CGX to prepare and submit an environmental assessment and management plan for each of the projects. In keeping with the Environmental Protection Act and the EPA's regulation, the agency reminded that any person who may be affected by any of the proposed projects may lodge an appeal against the neglect of an EIA with the Environmental Assessment Board within 30 days of the publication of the notice. And moving on with your main newscast right here on your radio with a difference. Part Stabroek Block owner Hess Corporation has set aside $70 million from its 2021 exploration and production capital budget of $1.9 billion to finance unannounced further development phases. Hess said that the money was set aside primarily for the front-end engineering and design work for future development phases on the Stabroek Block. Last September, even before the co-ventures, ExxonMobil, Hess, and CNOOC got approval for the Payara development. They were so sure of swift approvals for their endeavors under the production sharing agreement. The Child Care and Protection Agency is investigating the alleged rape of a 15-year-old girl. This is according to its head, Anne Green. It is understood that last December 19, the suspect and the teen were invited to a party in Caneville, East Bank, Demerara. The woman, who wishes to remain anonymous, said that at the party, the teen asked her to follow her to the shop. On the way to the shop, the woman said that she asked the teen her age and why she is smoking. According to the woman, the teen told her that she is stressed. The woman said that the teen explained that at nights when her mother was at work, the suspect would allegedly rape her. You're listening to Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5. It is 12 hours 8 in Guyana and right across the Eastern Caribbean. Still to come, World Bank loans Guyana $13.5 million to focus on mathematics and secondary school enrollment. Ram says Parliament should expel Patterson and Ferguson for involvement in $1 million gift buying scandal. And bandits beat youth for a thrown-away phone. Get the details of these stories and much more when the news returns. And also transition to renewable. Orange Duke Partners positions itself to supply solar power system. Stay with us. More news after the break.
This is GHK Lal inviting you to join me weekdays from Monday to Friday on the National Outlook for commentary on a range of issues. Immediately after the 12 noon and 7 p.m. newscasts on Kaieteur Radio at 99.1 FM and 99.5 FM. Looking forward to you sharing in the conversation.
Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. Guyana's development partner, the World Bank, on Monday announced its approval of a $13.5 million loan for Guyana's education sector. It is said that the money is for the ongoing secondary education improvement project. The bank said that Guyana's financing from its International Development Association is interest-free, with a majority of 40 years, including a grace period of 10 years. The Secondary Education Improvement Project page on the World Bank website shows it's dating back to June 4, 2014, when the bank approved a loan for Guyana of $10 million. It states that $9.12 million of that commitment was disbursed as of December 31st, 2020. Anti-corruption advocate, attorney at law Christopher Ram, is of the firm belief that former Minister of Public Infrastructure David Patterson and Annette Ferguson should be expelled from Parliament for their involvement in a $1 million gift buying scandal spanning several agencies previously under their control. Ram stated that the recent revelations of the gift buying scandal is quote-unquote quite frightening and begs the questions of whether the practice of purchasing exorbitant gifts was one that spanned other ministries in the previous coalition government. This incident, he said, has several implications, particularly as it relates to David Patterson, as he currently sits at the head of the Parliamentary Public Accounts Committee. A Linden youth was beaten on Monday by an armed bandit after he chose to throw away his cell phone during a robbery. According to police, the young man and his 18-year-old friend was approached by the two bandits, both armed with guns, around 20 hours at Fox Hill Foot, Linden. When the men held them at gunpoint, his friend became fearful and allowed them to take away his phone worth some $21,000. The young man, however, took his cell phone and threw it away into the neighbor's yard. Police were told that one of the gunmen became annoyed at the youth and began hitting him with the gun, leaving him injured. Cops are on the lookout for the armed bandits. And finally, at this time, Echo Atlantic Oil and Gas Limited, one of the joint ventures partners of the Orange Duke Block, announced yesterday that it has created a new company which will be focused on catering to the needs of the rising renewable sector. The new firm, called Echo Atlantic Renewables, was established in partnership with the NEPCOE Capital Partners Limited, a renewable energy developer and investment company. Together, the duo would be using the new cooperation as a vehicle to source, acquire, and develop an exclusive pipeline of high-yielding, low-cost solar projects. Eco Atlantic Oil and Gas owns 70% of Eco Atlantic Renewables, and the remaining 30% is owned by NEPCOE. And it's time for your COVID-19 updates. According to Worldometer, your COVID-19 cases stands at $100,825,118. That should be 118, with 2,167,080 deaths. To date, there are 72,839,459 recovered. And from Guyana, there are 7,346 cases, with 172 deaths. The total recovered cases stands at 6,455, with active cases stands at 719. We at Kaieteur Radio encourage you to continue to practice all the COVID-19 guidelines, which is to practice good hand hygiene, wash your hands if hand sanitizer is not available with soap and water, and to wear your face mask at all times and practice social distancing. And coming from CNN, President Biden administration has promised to have enough coronavirus vaccine for the entire U.S. population by the end of the summer. It expects its vaccine will be protective against coronavirus, the variants, but will test boosters to improve immunity. Everyday activities are more dangerous now than the new variants are circulating, an emergency physician said. And with that, we've come to the end of your main newscast right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. Let me remind you that you can get the full details of these stories and much more by picking up a copy of the Kaieteur News at a newsstand near you, or head across to our website at kaieteurnewsonline.com. I am Joshua Van Slegman saying thank you for joining us and encouraging you to have a great remainder of your Wednesday afternoon, and encouraging you to practice social distancing, practice good hand hygiene, and wear your face mask. Coming up after the break, it will be time for an excerpt from the Glenn Lal Show, after which GHK Lal will join us with your Wednesday edition of the National Outlook.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465